Italian Football Podcast.
Let's move on and talk about the Champions League last 16 draw, which was done on, just about an hour ago, since we're recording this early afternoon on Monday. So I'll read out the 8 fixtures. It's not been a great draw for the Italian teams. Porto versus Arsenal, Napoli, Barcelona, PSG, Real Sociedad, Inter, Atletico Madrid, PSV, Borussia Dortmund, Lazio versus Bayern Munich, Copenhagen, Man City, Leipzig, Real Madrid. The Italian teams will play the first legs at home because they were the runners-up in their group. So let's go through this one by one. Let's start with Inter then. Atletico Madrid. How do you feel about that, Nima?
I mean, on paper, it's a 50-50. Some would say maybe Inter are slight favourites. I wouldn't. I'd say it's a 50-50 game. Atletico Madrid are no mugs. And Cholo Simeone, they're a gritty side, Atletico. And they're a difficult side to break down. And Inter struggle against gritty sides. They have a lot of talent in that team. Griezmann, Morata. I mean, Morata's having the season of his lifetime. Griezmann's been excellent. Saul, Koke, Llorente, De Paul. I mean, they have Jan Oblak, fantastic goalkeeper. No, they are a good side. It's going to be difficult for Inter, and I would have preferred Inter to be drawn with Man City, like I said on Monday, for the reasons I outlined on the Monday pod. But of course, this is going to be played in February, March, so we're quite a bit away from that. So we don't know how both of these teams go into these games. But on paper, it's one of the better draws Inter could have gotten. I mean, because obviously Bayern Munich would have been a nightmare, because I think they're the strongest side left in the Champions League. Arsenal, City are all, good.
Yeah, I mean, look, the positive way of looking at this is Inter have missed the big guns. So they've missed whatever you want to say about Man City. You don't want to play Man City, you don't want to play Real Madrid, you don't want to play Bayern Munich, and you probably want to miss Arsenal as well. So you've missed the kind of like the 4 teams that you really don't want to play. So you're really, the only, on paper, if we're talking about just on paper, the only better draw I think that on paper Inter could have got was probably Borussia Dortmund. Yeah. So in that sense, that's the positive way of looking at it. But the negative is that, it's the kind of team that they're going to play smart tactically. They're not going to leave the spaces in behind, which Inter are so good at exploiting. So it's going to be tricky from that point of view. And like you said, Griezmann and Morata have been on fire this season. They've been really, really good.
They have quality players. They have a quality midfield, Atletico Madrid, and they have a coach who is always prepared tactically. But I think Simone should approach this game the same way he approached the Napoli game away, the same way he approached maybe City in the Champions League final as well. If he does that, and basically, because I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I think it's going to be very tight. And if Inter can be ruthless, then Inter.
The good thing is that I feel like Inter can match Atletico physically now. That's for sure, and that's where Atletico physically and mentally, Atletico are so good physically and mentally, and I feel like that's what I was saying before about how complete Inter are. I feel like that they can match them there. They've got the experience, getting to the final. They've got the physical, powerful players. They can match them on set pieces. We know how dangerous Atletico are at set pieces. So I feel like they can match them. They can match Atletico's strengths, and then I feel like they've got the extra quality Inter have to be. They're better. They've got better quality than Atletico. So yeah.
And two former teammates at Lazio playing each other, Simeone having played at Inter, Lautaro having already done a medical to sign for Atletico before signing for Inter. I mean, there's lots of talking points and
lots of subplots. Let's move on to the other two. Let's start off with Napoli. Napoli against Barcelona. I'm not sure how to feel about this one, because I feel like, again, with Napoli, I think I said the other day before the draw that the way that Napoli are playing now, I would back every other team to beat Napoli over 2 legs. The way that Napoli have been this season, the form that they're in, the way they're playing. But 2 months is a long time, so we hope that Napoli are better. But I also did add that Barcelona are also really struggling this season. They're not playing well. There's a lot of Xavi's under a lot of pressure. Robert Lewandowski is starting to look his age now. Robert
Yeah.
Lewandowski. He's not looking like the same Lewandowski. I'm not going to they're going to write him off, but he's not looking like the same Robert Lewandowski. And the Barcelona defense looks like it can concede goals, and when you've got two world-class attackers. So, I'm trying to be optimistic. What do you think, Nima? My biggest concern is what it's been all season, and that is, I just think that with Rudy Garcia and now with Walter Mazzarri, I just think they're ex-coaches, and I don't trust them against anyone. That's my issue.
I think you're right. I think your concerns that you're raising are true and valid. I think this was one of my. I mean, I tweeted out my dream draw, and I had Napoli against Barcelona because I think Napoli have the quality to hurt this Barcelona. I really do think so. But they need to come into that game with confidence, and they need to come into that game with Osimhen, Kvicha, Raspadori all on fire and wanting to do this. They have to put all the negativity and nonsense on one side and, try to win a couple of games and build a winning streak in the Serie A to be in a more comfortable position in the league and then go into that. I think this is 51-49 for Barcelona. I think this is a very evenly game match tie, and I think Napoli have every chance to go through. I really do think so. It's going to be very exciting. I think we're going to see lots of goals, but it's I give Napoli a very good chance to go through. For me, it's almost 50-50, slight advantage for Barcelona.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm as positive as you are, but let's just hope that Napoli can turn things around. If they play like they do this season, though, I don't give them any chance. Finally, though, one team that we certainly can't give it any chance, or can't even give a hope in hell, really, of them going through, is Lazio against Bayern Munich. It's not who. The question here isn't really who's going through. It's how many goals are Bayern Munich going to win by. Unfortunately.
Look, let me put it to you this way. Even if Lazio, because the first leg will be played at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, where we've had magical nights before, even if Lazio win by a goal, 1-0, or 2 goals, by some miracle at the Olimpico, Bayern is going to rip them apart at the home. It's just Bayern Munich at home in the second leg are just another animal. You need to have at least 3-goal lead going in a tie with that when you play them away, because the way that the machine. I mean, I know they struggle in the Bundesliga and they feel like they're playing at 50% of their potential, but I just look at them and this is literally the worst draw that Lazio could have gotten. Literally the worst draw. And it ends here, but it's been a good run for Lazio. They got through. They've done what we could ask of them. I hope that they can, make their fans happy in the first leg at home at the Stadio Olimpico and maybe get a result there. But then away to Bayern, it's like you said. The question is not if Bayern go through. The question is by how many goals.
Absolutely, yeah. Right, okay. I do have to say the English team's got two great draws, didn't they? Man City against Copenhagen. I mean, you just can't make it up, can you? Man City. When was the last time Man City ever had a hard draw in these early knockout games? They always seem to get,
or the group stage even.
Ever. And Arsenal got Porto. Porto are always a nasty. They're kind of like a mini Atletico Madrid, aren't they?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's again. Looking at the other teams in the draw, Arsenal are going to be very happy with that. Europa League draw. 2 Italian teams in this. This is for the playoff rounds. The teams that finished second in the Europa League groups playing against the teams that finished third in the Champions League. So Milan have got Rennes. Milan coming down from the Champions League, and Roma have got Feyenoord. That Roma Feyenoord, I mean, these two teams, they play each other every single year. This is the third.
I mean, this is 21-22 season. It's the 5th knockout stage game between Feyenoord and Roma. They played in the Conference League final. They played last year. I think it was in the Europa League
quarterfinal. Yeah,
and then now again in the playoff round. It's always been toxic, and they absolutely don't like each other. And the question is not if Mourinho gets sent off. The question is when Mourinho gets sent off in this game.
Oh yeah,
And in which one of the legs.
I can't wait for the pre-match press conferences because what's his name, the manager of Feyenoord? Because I remember he was having a go at Mourinho, so he doesn't like the football he plays and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's not a great draw though because Feyenoord are good. I was really impressed with them against Atletico Madrid in the first game. They deserved to win that game, and then they played against Lazio. They hammered Lazio in Holland, and then they didn't deserve to lose at the Stadio Olimpico. They deserved at least a draw in that game. So I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult game, but obviously the fact that Roma probably have the psychological advantage having won those games. As for Milan, Rennes are having a disastrous season. They're fighting against relegation. They were really good last season. They're fighting against relegation. I think they're fourth from bottom in Liga. So if it's again like Napoli, if it's the Rennes that are playing now, then you're picking Milan every day of the week. But if it's an improved Rennes, it could be a little bit more difficult. Atalanta are already in the last 16 draw because they won their group, and the same is the case for Fiorentina in the Conference League as well. They don't play, so we won't know who they're playing in the last 16 until the next playoff round fixtures are played.